Now I'm going to get into what happened on Halloween night, October 31st, 1992. By the way, this jacket was a gift. I am a Phillies fan. I hate the Yankees. Well, on a much less lighter note, I got a call from Maria on the 31st, and she told me it's confirmed she's pregnant. Now, I have been thinking about this lately, not just because of these videos. I'm going to get into something before I talk about that specific night. Something that vast majority of you are not going to believe. Right before I went down to Honduras, I was standing in the garage. Now, I'm not schizophrenic. I do not hear voices. I was standing in the garage, and I heard a voice that said, "Don't go to Honduras." Well, I didn't know who that was. I opened up the door into the den. My dad was sitting, and I said, "Dad, did you say something to me?" And he goes, "No." So I close the door, I'm back in the garage, and I hear it again. I open the door and I say, "Did you just tell me, Dad, not to go to Honduras?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Then I heard it again. I'm like, "God, is that you?" Well, for the longest time I wondered why I was told not to go to Honduras. Jehovah, the entity that you Christians call God, and Jews, and Muslims, has many times, I know now, many times, either tried to divert me from my path or outright tell me not to do something. He told me to leave the woman that would become my second wife alone too, later on. I'll get into that story later. I don't hear voices, folks. If I hear Jehovah, so to speak, it's through what you might call telepathy. Hear it in my mind, the way you hear your own self in your own mind. But you just recognize that it's not you. A lot of you, I'm just going to assume that means crazy. Trust me, in the next few years, you atheists aren't going to be atheists anymore. That I can guarantee you. That I can guarantee you. Why didn't Jehovah want me to go down to Honduras? Well, it wasn't because I would be hurt really bad by my first wife, emotionally, whatnot. That wasn't the reason. The reason he didn't want me to go down there was what I learned on the 31st of October, 1992. I have gone back and forth in my mind since then. Maria lied to me about a lot of things. This big one, she did not. Now, recognize that I didn't come to that awareness till recently. Since she lied to me so much over so many different things, and she had said that she was pregnant 2 days after the first time we were together, well, of course I thought she was lying about this. In the course of the conversation, I steered it into her saying that the baby was not mine. That really, really, really is what did it for our relationship. That I would not admit that this child was mine. As I said, she's lied to me before. She had lied to me up to that point. I pretty much knew it. Wouldn't be surprised if she hadn't even cheated on me. Well, I steered her into admitting that it was not my child. It was a son, by the way. Well, I got very upset that night. Wasn't sure what to do. Started drinking and driving. Ended up driving down the highway and stopped on the side of the road to take a piss, and a police officer pulled up. I was arrested. Public exposure and DUI. I could have fought the DUI, but I didn't because my mother insisted me that I'd not. I could have fought it because my keys were not even in the ignition. That's the key. If you do stop on the side of the road, you throw your keys in the back. Throw it in the back. If your keys are not in the ignition, they cannot say that you were driving the car if you're not in the car. Legally, I could have gotten out of that DUI, but my mother always nice how she's so righteous, wants to do the righteous thing, the right thing when it comes to other people. Boy. Anyway, I was arrested. I had spent a night in jail. This would be my first time in jail, first of many to come. And talked to Maria again the next week. Oh, by the way, I'd gotten a job at another convenience store, and my manager was a woman, attractive woman, older than me, in her 30s, who was hitting on me, and I told her to stop. So my job there, the 3 or 4 months I was there after that, was not very pleasant. I am faithful to my wives, despite the fact that they were not faithful to me. I know, Yang. I know. We'll get into that later. My second wife. Anyway, talked to her again next week, and she and I decided that she'll go ahead and have the baby down there in Honduras, and then leave the child there with her mother, and then she'll come here, and then we'll, support the child from the States. I'll tell you what, at that point I had convinced myself that this was another man's child. Nothing like being married to a woman who is pregnant with another man's child. As far as I knew, as far as I believed. Nope, he's mine, and he's about to turn 20 this year. Wonder if he's still in Honduras. Probably. Never even seen him. Well, I was convinced that it was this other man's baby, her boyfriend, the one who fathered the other 3 kids. And she decided to stay down there. During the course of the next few months, a friend of mine died in November. Killed himself accidentally. But as far as Maria is concerned, she got to where she would call whenever she wanted to. Thing is, she was angry that I wasn't accepting of this child. It would be a long time before I would accept him as mine. And after Maria and I stopped, we were still technically married, but when we were separated, let's say that, after a while I just convinced myself that she had lied about that, despite the fact that the child looked just like me. I saw a picture of him. I don't know how long this video has been. This was an incident I really didn't want to talk about. Thing is, I have to be honest, forthright, with the people who will watch this years from now. Most of you are going to see this after I'm already dead. I know who I am. So, here I am in January of 2013, and I see the future that you are now living. I know what's coming. The peace, the tranquility that we are now experiencing, folks, is about to be shattered.